And we are back, and we just finished watching 2023's Quiz Lady, rated R, with a runtime of 1 hour and 39 minutes. This we caught on Hulu, and this is the story of, as IMDb says, a game show-obsessed woman and her estranged sister work together to help cover their mother's gambling debts. This is directed by Jessica Yu from a script by Jen D'Angelo and stars Awkwafina as Ann Yum. Yeah, I kept thinking I heard that wrong. I thought it was Young.
No, yum. Yum.
Yeah. Yep. As Anne, the younger sister who lives a very colorless and rigid life. But the one thing that's constant in her life is this little game show that she watches and the relationship that she does not have with her older sister, Jenny, played by the lovely Sandra Oh. And then years later, they find themselves coming together when the senior home where their mother is supposed to be at accidentally misplaces her.
Well, they don't misplace her. She ran away.
That's right. And then they sort of want to get out of any kind of liability or responsibility, so they basically are like, yeah, we're kicking your mom out.
Yeah, apparently the mom was a bit too hard to handle. She was just mean, I guess.
I feel like that's a thing, right? When people get older, they're just...
Well, as you get older, you just don't care. You don't care about tolerating crap. You don't have time for crap.
But I also think there's something. Okay, so as I was watching this, as someone who kind of had to caretake their own parents, it was interesting because that dynamic where you sort of become the parent to the parent, and they don't want to listen to you because they're the parent, right? So, and I think there's also this whole thing of mortality that they face here. It's not that. I mean, you get the sense that Anne and Jenny's mom never kind of recovered from the failure of her marriage dissolving, and then maybe the death of the husband.
She was a gambleaholic. She could not stop gambling. That's what destroyed her marriage. The one scene where they show that
I thought he was the gambler, and then she sort of
the one scene where you see the dad is him yelling about her losing money and saying he wants a divorce.
Oh, I thought it was the other way around.
No, the mother she just could not stop gambling, and even afterwards when she's in the nursing home, she's still
and borrowing
sneaking out
grand.
And gambling.
Yeah.
I think she just lost $80,000.
Right.
That's the problem. You're not really borrowing money when you're gambling. You're just losing it.
Yeah.
So the parents really weren't there for the kids.
Right. Well, I think the father died.
The father left, and apparently he died. I don't know,
on a boat. I think he fell off a boat or something. Was that what they said?
That's right. He was trying to reenact the
Titanic scene.
The top of the world or whatever the hell.
No.
King of the world.
King of
the world thing. And he died doing that. But that was after he had left.
Right.
So
he wasn't
really
involved.
He wasn't really in their lives, and then he died in an embarrassing fashion.
Sure.
And meanwhile, the caretaker was the mother allegedly, but she was just off gambling all the time. So the true caretaker was actually Jenny.
Right.
And you get I think the way they filmed that, they showed just glimpses of that enough before you actually even see the big sacrifice she makes later on.
Yeah.
And the thing where when the parents are arguing and
Anne has the bowl of noodles.
Yeah, Anne's got the bowl. No. Anne's watching her show.
Oh, right. And she raises the volume.
Well, she doesn't give a crap about the show. Jenny doesn't give a crap about the show. She's talking with a friend on the phone.
Right.
But you see her raise the volume so she doesn't have to hear the parents argue.
Right.
And then the other time when I guess the mother's getting ready to or leaving to go gambling or doing something, Anne's trying to watch the show and Jenny's cracking the egg into the soup, basically taking care of her.
Yeah.
And it's sort of it's not an overt taking care of her little sister. It's these subtle things, these little things. So it's not really.
And
I don't even know if
obviously
that's the thing. I don't think it registered with Anne at all that her sister was looking out for her.
She was always there.
It's not to say that Jenny was this angel. Right. Jenny was a train wreck.
Hot mess.
Yeah, she was exactly a hot mess. She was just coming up with all these ideas and big dreams and schemes. yeah, okay, maybe that was like, I guess, the mother's influence on her.
Mm-hmm.
I guess the mother just dreamed of hitting that big jackpot, and Jenny's dream was becoming an actress or starting a fashion line or doing all these other fly-by-night sort of things. But
Life coach.
Well, honestly, she actually
Was probably good at
was
that.
probably good at
Yeah.
She encouraged that lady at the restaurant to
bake.
be in charge of the baking department. She definitely has that. She's the one with the charisma.
Yes. I mean, if she could get Holland Taylor to help her get Anne in the trunk of the car,
Yes.
then she definitely had the charisma.
Too bad she's alive. She's like, where's my $100? I'll give whatever. But I mean, yeah, and Anne was definitely, she, like, I guess as a child, just sort of like recessed, and the only
Comfort.
the only joy she had was, what was
Terry McTeer.
Terry McTeer, and that Jeopardy-ish type game show. What was the show called? Get a Clue or something?
Oh gosh.
God, we're senile.
Yeah, we are. Hold on. I'm gonna find out right now. Can't Stop the Quiz.
Is that what it was called?
I think so.
So
Terrible name.
her only outlet was Terry McTate and Terry McTeer and Can't Stop the Quiz, which she watched just religiously. And I mean, Will Ferrell did like a great job portraying this sort of. He felt sort of like a cross between Alex Trebek and Mr. Rogers, and maybe like a little
Bob
Bill
Ross.
Nye thrown in there.
Okay.
Because he was always like learning and get ready to have fun.
Yeah.
And he had all his little bow ties, which was a cute little thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, everything was like
Really well
even
done.
the little subtle tweaks. They really made it. And you could see like bits of Saturday Night Live characters that Will Ferrell had done. He excels in either doing like the crazy, I'm running around in my underwear, drunk, insane, or he'll do like the sort of the quiet, nice guy, who gets put into some sort of crazy position.
Yeah.
And this was like more of the crazy, more of the quiet, nice guy sort of character. And he played it just enough where it was sweet and funny and endearing.
And kind of like, we're going to pair this with Frozen. His character is sort of like the Olaf character. He's lovable, but he's not overdone.
Yes.
I mean, the story really is Jenny and Anne, but there's enough of him to kind of tie everything nicely together. And the scene at the end where he's talking to Anne, really, I mean, I cried. I'm not even gonna lie, I cried.
Yeah, it was very sweet.
And
like
very
you could see,
sweet.
and it's funny because like it was a little overt, but like when they introduce, when he's introducing the guests of the show, she actually like refers to him as like father.
Yes, and he's like, what? She's like, what?
Because seriously, he was the dad. That
he basically raised her. Yeah.
He was the dad.
He was
she
the
never
constant
had.
male in her life that taught her that learning was fun and she could be herself. She felt like she could be herself with him and Mr. Linguine.
Mr. Linguine. The ancient dog that was just...
who has a social media empire by the end, which is crazy. And that little tagline at the end made me laugh. How it's wrong with capitalism. Just really, really smart writing here. Very smart. Really well done. Awkwafina, she's usually like this character, but she reins it in and she plays like this really wound tight introvert. Yeah. And just excellent work from her. And Sandra Oh is like the crazy sister. Also well done, because even though she is the crazy sister, sort of like what you highlighted, there's these little nuances in the performance where even though she's the crazy one, like a lot of the things that she did because she loved her little sister. Yeah. And she was always looking out for her, whether Anne realized it or not.
Yeah, that's the thing, because like on the outward appearance, you'd think she's just some self-absorbed
flake woman.
Yeah. And when it all came down to it, she genuinely did care for her sister.
Yeah.
I mean, to the point, that story that's some hardcore embarrassment that she endured just so her little sister would not have to suffer, because she knew she could take it, whereas Anne
it would have destroyed her.
Been devastating. It would have just put her further into whatever recess she was already living in.
I also appreciated how even though Anne kind of thought like, okay, well, it's my lot in life to take care of all of these people. I have to support my mother. I have to give my sister money every once in a while. I have to be the adult here. But at the end of the day, she allowed herself that vulnerability to also realize that not only was she not alone, but here was somebody who was with her this whole time. And she wasted so many years not having a relationship with her sister when she could have.
I think it wasn't like she was looking for it, but it was just something that she realized that was there, it was good for her.
Right.
I mean, they definitely were good for each other.
Absolutely.
And
I think Jenny gave Anne like the wings to fly, kind of.
Yeah, it's always great. I mean, it's always great to have a cheerleader.
Sure.
I mean, I know from like personal experience, I was very withdrawn and shy, and honestly, the people that really helped me the most are the people with like very strong personalities. I mean, you and my friend Jay and Mike and having that, it's just such a boost. You feel better about yourself when you know you got like a
system,
a strong support system.
But I think here it's even lovelier because it's family, right? You don't get to choose your family. Like you choose your friend family, right? Which is also very important, right? In your journey. But I think that your family, if you can cultivate that relationship, if you have that, it's very important. And I think there's all familial relationships are important, but there's definitely a special bond between sisters. And it was nice to see that here. Again, really, really well done by Awkwafina and Sandra Oh. And it's nice to get it from the Asian American perspective, right? Because we don't usually get those types of stories. Although I definitely want to get Joyride on the list of things to watch.
You don't know what it's like to be an Asian American woman.
Exactly. She's telling that to Anne.
She would just say that all the time, or like just buzz out. Oh, it's an ancient Chinese proverb, and like that. You see the white lady in the audience like nodding her head wisely, and the guy behind her is just like, what the hell is this lady talking about?
He's Asian too. Or my other favorite was like racist, and then the guy sticks his head out and he's Asian too. He's like, learn to drive, and she's like, racist.
Yeah, I mean that's another thing about this movie. It's actually funny. I mean, it's not like you're not going to be busting your gut laughing about it, but the humor in there is very well done. Yeah, it's not weak at all. There's no relying on just nonsense and just. I mean, slapstick has its place, but it's not relying on things like that. Yeah. It's very well done.
It's very well done. And also, let's talk about the narcotics scene.
Oh, yes, there's some irresponsible
drug
use of drugs.
Well, in her defense, Jenny was trying to help Anne relax, and things may have gone slightly sideways.
That was funny.
Yeah. And the stuff going on in Anne's head was like bizarre.
Then it all starts changing.
It was really great to get it from the American Asian experience, women, right? We don't focus on those kinds of story enough. And this was, even though it was told from that vantage point, I think that I, as a Latin woman, definitely got a lot out of this, and I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the journey. I enjoyed the storytelling. It was fantastic. It made me laugh. It made me cry. I am still amazed at Will Ferrell's journey. I hated him. I hated him so much. I can't even begin to tell you. I was in the minority. I just couldn't stand his comedy when he was on SNL. I didn't start turning it around until after he left SNL and he was starting to do, I guess, films on the side. And then
it was Old School.
And then you forced me to watch Old School, and I was like, oh my God, this is hella hilarious. And I was like, oh, I might have to rage hate about Will Ferrell. And I've since put it aside. I enjoyed Step Brothers tremendously.
Step Brothers. Anchorman,
yes.
Talladega Nights.
Yes.
They're all,
Yeah. But I sort of like this.
Elf.
Oh my God, Elf is so good. I sort of like this transition in his career. I mean, I think he's doing less of that. I mean, I think he still is very much involved in comedy, but I sort of like these more poignant stories with comedic elements, but that don't necessarily all have to rely on crazy comedy. And it's just really lovely. I mean, his character in this was really great. I mean, we haven't even talked about Jason Schwartzman, who's also a part of this little ensemble piece, and
It's
his
a small role, but I mean, Jason Schwartzman's always
He's
good.
always
he's
great.
very good at playing like
smarmy
smarmy jerk guys.
Yeah.
Which
Which is funny because he's in interviews,
exception.
he's lovely. Like, I would
Oh, yeah.
love to live next door to that guy and have him over for barbecue. But he plays the obnoxious Ron, who's got ulterior motives here, and he's a jerk. And it's funny because Anne's character completely read him to filth from the moment she saw him. But just really well done all around. Holland Taylor as the crazy neighbor, the crazy old
Tony
Battle
Hale
axe.
as Ben Franklin.
As Ben Franklin.
I thought Ben Franklin and Anne were going to end up together.
Or Jenny.
No.
Anne.
Anne.
Oh, okay.
He hated Jenny. He was like,
Jenny.
there's the devil or whatever. I don't know what he referred to her as.
That was hilarious, actually, though. Yeah, and Francine, the neighbor's obsession with Alan Cummings, who was really Paul Rubens.
Yeah.
It was nice to see Paul Rubens, even though
Yeah.
he's no longer with us.
I wonder if that was the last thing he did.
I wonder. He's listed on IMDb as Francine's crush, not even Paul Rubens, even though she did tell him, like, oh, that's Paul Rubens. And Francine's like, no, that's Alan Cummings. Wouldn't I know my favorite actor? Which is hilarious. Yeah, he died in July of last year at the age of 70. So I wonder if this was his last film. Yeah. Before that, he did Pat on Bob's Burgers.
He's like 70.
Yeah. Any other thoughts before we wrap it up?
No, just that this is a very entertaining movie.
Would you recommend it?
I would recommend it. Definitely. I guess if I gave this a number, I would give this an 8.
An 8.
Yeah.
I too would give it an 8. I think from where it starts to where it ends, it's
Yeah.
a very lovely journey. I think the characters are really well done. They're not egregious. They're lovely. That scene with Will Ferrell towards the end, like, just really,
And the bow tie whole
just really resonated with me, and how it wasn't about being a winner or a loser. It was just about enjoying the journey and just finding joy in those little things. How he talked about, like, meeting these people and how he knew, like, each bow tie represented a person. And prior to that, the tour that Anne and Jenny got, where the girl who worked for the quiz show basically was like, yeah, Terry never wears the same bow tie twice. And you could see it obviously on the walls. It's amazing. It is a museum of bow ties in a way. But just little things like that, like, just added this sweetness to the story that just was incredible. And again, that scene, I don't know, it made me cry. I'm not gonna lie, it made me cry, but it was a nice cry, and it felt good, and it was just sweet. Yeah, I highly recommend this too. I too would give it an 8. I think the performances were stellar. The script is great. It's not a long movie, and yeah, it's a ton of fun. Mm-hmm. Now that it's cold, you want to stay indoors, watch a little fun stuff.
Yeah.
There's a couple of curse words. It is rated R. There's nothing like sexually scandalous or anything like that, but I think there is strong language.
Yeah.
But other than that, just a fun, joyous adventure.
Yeah.
All right. If you haven't seen it, check out Quiz Lady on Hulu. It's from 2023 from writer Jen D'Angelo and director Jessica Yu. This clocks in at 1 hour and 39 minutes. Not a long movie. It moves really quickly. No. Rated R with some just really top-notch performances by these ladies. Amazing, amazing storytelling. Excellent all around. And that's it from us. And we will bid you all a
good night.
Good night.